Hi, this is Kimberly Morris from procrastistamper.blogspot.com, and today I'd like to show you how to make this little stationery folder. This is the outside of the folder, and I just have it closed with a little bit of baker's twine. And on the inside of the folder, it holds 3 cards. You could fit a few more in there, and also 3 envelopes. And the cards on the inside are using the same Feeling Sentimental stamp set, which is a free Sale-a-Bration stamp set, only through March 22nd, and the cards on the inside use the same supplies. So I want to run through really quickly how to create this folder. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of 8.5 by 11 soft suede cardstock, and the first thing I'm going to do is score it in half, and I'm going to orient this towards me so you won't be able to see the entire Stampin Trimmer. I am going to put my cardstock in here and score this in half, which, because it's 11 inches long, scoring it in half is 5 inches. So I'm going to bring my scoring blade up from the bottom here and just score as I go up. And I like to do scoring one way and then back the other way. It just makes a nice little crease. Then I'm going to turn my cardstock the other direction, and I'm going to score it at 6 1/4, which is actually right here. It's like the last lined measurement on the Stampin Trimmer, so it's kind of convenient. And I'll go ahead and pull my scoring blade up and back down again. Okay, so here is my scored sheet of soft suede cardstock, and I'm going to trim away a few pieces, just a couple. I'm going to show you how to do that. The easiest way to do this is to fold it in half. Don't fold across the bottom score line, just fold it in half so that you have a 5.5 by 8.5 piece. So you're going to want to cut away from this edge, just sort of a half of a V, a little bit of an angle, maybe 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch, cutting in an angle just straight up to that score mark. And you're also going to do an angle right here up to the score mark, but it's going to be in the opposite direction. So our angle is going to go this way. Okay, so we have our folder scored and cut from our 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I want to show you how to turn it into this. Alright, so we have our designer series paper that is 1.5 inches by 11 inches, and we have our folder. What I like to do with this paper, if I know I'm going to put it on something that has a fold in the middle, this paper, you can just take it and just crease it right in the middle. And this is my soft suede Stampin' pad. And then all you have to do, let me remove the kitty hair, is to dab that onto your ink pad, and then you're going to take whatever piece of paper or cardstock that you want to sponge and just sort of flick the sponge from the front to the back, and as it scrapes onto that edge of paper, it will sponge it. Okay, I have adhered the designer series paper to the folder, and now I want to decorate it, so I'm going to use the Feeling Sentimental Sale-a-Bration stamp set with the soft suede ink. I'm going to sponge that image after I'm through stamping it. So I'm going to put my sponge there, and this is a sheet of very vanilla cardstock. It is cut at 2 1/4 by 3 inches. Just set it right down there on my paper that I've already cut to size. Press down very firmly and lift back up, and then we have our image. And all I'm going to do is go around all of the edges and just sponge them just as I showed you before. I sponged around that image, and now I want to put it onto my folder. I want to put some baker's twine underneath, so I have pulled that out. That's a length of 18 inches. And the reason that I wanted to show you exactly how to place this is I like to put my ribbon across where it's going to stay, and then set my image down with the Stampin Dimensionals. It's going to fold up so that we can put our cards in there, and then it's going to tie closed. Okay, so here are the supplies that you're going to need to make the cards. This is Sahara sand cardstock. It has been cut to 5.5 by 8.5, and it has been scored so that it creates a 4 1/4 by 5.5 fold over card. What we're going to want to use is the Ferris wheel image, and this piece of very vanilla cardstock, which has been cut to 2.5 by 2 3/4. And my soft suede Stampin' pad. Let's go ahead and just ink that up. Again, I like to twist and tap when using the old linen covered ink pads. Breathe on it just to kind of moisten that up a little bit. Press down firmly to get my image. Alright, the next thing that I am going to use the ink pad for is to sponge this little piece of first edition designer series paper. Now this paper is 3/4 of an inch wide by 5 inches long, but I want to put a little tail on it. So before I sponge it, I want to put that little tail in there. So I'm just going to sort of cut halfway at an angle here and halfway at an angle here, and then I have my little tail. And as long as I'm doing that, I may as well do the cardstock as well. This is 1.5 inches wide by 5 inches long, and I'm just going to cut a little tail into that, a nice little fish tail, and just kind of eyeball it. It's not really super important that it's exactly straight. And all I need to do is sponge this piece, and then we can start putting our card together. Okay, I have my pieces all sponged, and I just wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to assemble this part. I just run some SNAIL adhesive on here. It's just a double-sided tape runner, and I'll just line this up to the edge. A little bit of double-sided tape on the back of this. Doesn't have to be super exact. And when I put these on, I like to sort of offset the pendants. You can put it exactly in the center if that's how you like it. Sometimes it helps me to line it up a little bit better if I sort of look at it from the side and just kind of gauge my distance equally all the way down. And this is going to get some Stampin Dimensionals on the underside, and then we'll just adhere that to the top. This is where the Stamp-a-ma-jig comes in. It is your best friend for adding greetings on at the last minute onto a card without having to deal with that crooked and wanting to throw it in the garbage and start all over again. So you ink up whatever you're going to use, however it's mounted on your acrylic mount or your wood mount. You make sure that the corner of this Stamp-a-ma-jig sheet is up in the corner of this T. Press it in there and make sure that it's all lined up correctly in the corner. And then you're going to line the mount of your stamp up in the corner here. So you can hear, I've got it put up in that corner, and then you just slide it down. This is very tall, so you can just slide it down, and then it ends up transferring to the sheet. Then what you do is you take your sheet over to the project that you want to put your greeting on, and you still need to kind of eyeball it to line it up. Usually that works out fairly well. If you want to, you can take and create a pencil line on there with a ruler so that you will know where you want to line it up. My problem with that is after I stamp, sometimes I don't wait long enough to erase the eraser line, and then it smears my ink while I'm erasing it. So I kind of prefer to eyeball it. It usually turns out okay. So I'm going to hold the card in place, hold this plastic sheet in place, and I'm also going to bring this little T back in, and without moving the card and without moving the sheet, lining it all up, everything's where I want it. The only thing that I'm going to pull away is this plastic sheet. Okay, so we can set that aside. We're done with it. Also, make sure when you set it aside that you don't set it somewhere that you can set something on top, because this is plastic, and this classic Stampin' ink will smear right onto your fingers or your project or whatever you set on top of it. Here's an important part. Re-ink your stamp up, because you already stamped it off once. It's going to be a little bit lighter. So go ahead and twist and tap if you have the old linen pads, or just tap lightly if you have a firm foam pad. Again, I like to breathe on it. Take it into the corner of that Stamp-a-ma-jig, slide it down again, press firmly and lift straight up, and there you have your greeting exactly where you wanted it on your card. All you need to do is take those, set them down in your folder on one side. You can take 3 very vanilla envelopes, set them down on the other side. You're just going to fold your little folder closed onto it, and we'll pull these little strips, and there's our folder with our 3 stationery cards and envelope.